Okay, welcome to the section 3 again, 3B this time, from our anthology, our A-level anthology, Michael Wilcockson on euthanasia. Let's read it and we'll analyse it. Whilst Singer's argument may have much more to commend it, we should also bear in mind that the sanctity of life has as much as the quality of life argument both have to contend with the increasing technological and medical complexity. Whereas in the past, pneumonia was considered to be the old person's friend, or a severely brain-damaged child would have died through natural causes, the doctor has the means to sustain life, which in the past simply would not have been a possibility. Whilst the moral basis for sustaining life and allowing death is in transition, the medical profession and legislators will continue to inspire strong reactions. So let's have a think about this. What's he saying here? Whilst Singer's argument may have much more to commend it. So back to Singer, key advocate, key quality of life, pro-choice advocate. We heard his book, his 1990 book, Practical Ethics, referenced here. And what sort of things does he say in the book? Well, there's a lot of things in there. He's famous for there's nothing in a way special about the human animal amongst other animals. Any animal that is got sentience is of value. So he says, why should the boundary of sacrosanct life match the boundary of our species? So this kind of non-specialism, that value equals just sentience, is his argument. It's a fairly interesting argument if you look at it, that just an extra centimetre of cortical brain tissue somehow adds up to value. How does that work? I'm not even sure, if I'm being honest. But anyway, in the book, in terms of euthanasia, which is part of that broader attack on the sanctity of life, on the specialness of human life, he says voluntary euthanasia occurs only when, the best of medical knowledge, a person is suffering. To the best of medical knowledge, a person is suffering from an incurable and painful or extremely distressing condition. In these circumstances, one cannot say that to choose to die quickly is obviously irrational. Notice if you're making an argument, if you make it in a negative way, it's much harder to disagree, with a closed kind of question or statement than an open question. He's very expert at doing that. Very hard to disagree with his rhetoric. So he continues in Practical Ethics. He says the principle of respect for, here it is, autonomy. Life is defined as anything with sentience, anything that is rational. Therefore, you have autonomy. Tells us to allow rational, he repeats himself, agents to live their own lives according to their own autonomous decisions, free from coercion or interference, especially from religious people. But if rational agents should autonomously choose to die, then respect for autonomy will lead us to assist them as they choose. He likes to use the word autonomy. About Singer, I found this was really interesting. It's in a newspaper article by J. Harari. Peter Singer, some people are more equal than others. His enemies put it bluntly. Singer says it's okay to kill disabled babies. Singer says seriously damaged human beings are on a par with apes. Singer says he would have been okay to kill his own mother. These charges are spat out off the sides of their mouths. I love that. One theologian I spoke to said contemptuously, Peter Singer takes the most basic human instincts, I don't want someone to kill me, and tries to reason them out of existence. What does he expect us to do? Hug him? Heated debates, I think, was said earlier in the anthology. So here, what is, just going back to the top, what is the significance of Wilcockson's endorsement, it seems, of Singer's argument? Is much more to commend it. Much more to commend it. Is he commending infanticide, really? Because that's what Singer commends. Does Wilcockson say, in effect, since we're all now more secular, and that's the way things are going, should we just get on with killing people? It's all good. Really? Is that what it adds up to? I'll let you decide. What's your viewpoint? What do you think about these things that have been said? Now, so next, nice little bit here. Whereas in the past, pneumonia was considered to be the old people, the person's friend. None of you know what pneumonia is, but it's not good. It's in the lungs. It's what happens in your lungs. And it would have been the natural end to an old person's life, because there weren't the drugs and the respiration, everything to treat people. Not much could be done about it until, not a long time ago. And it was very, very prevalent. People tended to die of natural causes, i.e. things that couldn't be treated. Now, what's the argument here? Well, medical advances have left us with difficulties. So what Wilcockson is saying here is there's a changeover between the traditional Christian view of the sanctity of life to a more secular quality of life argument towards people's health. But he's saying more. He's saying there's more to commend it. This is he saying this is progressive? This is a good thing altogether? Is it? Is this sort of chronological snobbery being endorsed by Wilcockson? He's supposed to be objective. He's supposed to be laying out just the case. Is that really the case? So this has been made more complex by advances in medical technology. Yeah, okay, that has brought up certain issues, but is it that difficult? And is it, people have been thinking about this for a long time. So Wilcockson is, no surprise, he's from the Church of England. He's an associate priest, and he's from that a bit sort of weak sanctity of life, if at all sanctity of life viewpoint, a bit relativist. So what is the relativist import of suggesting ethics is merely a kind of cultural artifact? A kind of just, and in one culture it's wrong to kill people, in another culture it's right to kill people. Does he even try to sustain this argument, or is it all just a bit ridiculous? I'll let you decide. What's your view? So this was section 3b. Is it possible what is lawful is not moral? That's something to think about. And is there a chronological snobbery at work here by not only Singer, but perhaps even by Wilcockson?